Every year, parents spend billions of dollars on toys, flashcards, baby genius videos, and educational gadgets, all hoping to give their child a head start in life. But one of the quietest findings in child development research will change how you think about every one of those purchases. There is a single daily practice, completely free, about 5 minutes long, that does more for your baby's developing brain than almost any toy in the house. Researchers who study early brain development have spent over 2 decades studying it. It has a name, and most parents have never heard of it. It's called serve and return. Child development experts describe this practice as one of the most essential experiences in shaping the architecture of a growing brain. That sounds technical, but the practice itself is beautifully simple. Your baby sends out a small signal, a coo, a glance, a pointed finger, and you answer, you mirror them back. That tiny exchange, repeated again and again across the day, is literally building their brain. The problem is that most parents miss these signals completely, not because they don't care, but because no one ever taught them what to look for. The company has many different ways to expand. One way is to develop new products. Another way is to acquire other companies. Finally, we can expand into new markets.
Imagine a newborn looking up at you from their playmat. They catch your eye, make a soft ooh sound, and wait. In that split second, something profound is happening. Your baby has just sent out what researchers call a serve. Their whole brain is watching to see what you do next. If you smile, lean in, and say something warm back, even just, "Oh, I see you, sweetheart," you've completed the loop. That's the return. In that single exchange, thousands of tiny neural connections are firing, strengthening, and being written into the long-term architecture of your child's brain. This is how early wiring actually works, not through fancy programs, but through everyday moments most adults would never even register as a conversation. The research on this is remarkable. A landmark study out of a major research university scanned young children's brains and found that the quantity of words a child heard wasn't what predicted language and cognitive development most strongly. It was the number of back-and-forth conversational turns with a caregiver. What mattered was how much adults talked with their children, not simply how much they talked near them. Children who experienced more of these exchanges had stronger neural connections in the language processing regions of the brain. And here's the hopeful part. This effect held true across every income group and every family situation. This advantage is available to any parent in any home, starting today. Picture a toddler in the kitchen while you're making dinner. She points at a pot on the stove and babbles something that isn't quite a word yet. You could keep chopping and let it pass, or you could glance over and say, "Yes, that's the pot. It's getting warm. We have to be careful." That's it. That's the whole exchange. No lesson plan, no timer, just noticing and answering. And here's something worth holding on to. This isn't about getting it right every time. You will miss serves. You will be tired, distracted, mid-sentence on the phone, and your baby's little signal will slip right past you. That's not failure, that's just being human. What matters isn't perfection, it's the pattern, repeated imperfectly day after day.
There's one classic experiment that shows in under 2 minutes exactly how much serve and return means to your baby. Back in the 1970s, a developmental psychologist ran what became one of the most cited experiments in child psychology, the still face experiment. A mother sits facing her baby, playing and talking with her, answering every little signal. The baby is delighted, engaged, full of life. Then, on cue, the mother's face goes blank. She doesn't leave, she simply stops answering. Within seconds, the baby notices and tries to get the connection back. Her smile grows bigger, her little hands reach out. A tiny finger points at anything she can find. When nothing works, she becomes quietly unsettled. Not because her mother is gone, but because her warmth, her answering presence, has disappeared. When the mother finally responds again, her whole body settles. The world becomes safe once more. The takeaway isn't about blame. It's about how deeply wired babies are to expect our response. Your baby isn't simply sitting there absorbing the world passively. She's actively reaching for you all day long through 100 tiny signals an hour. And every time you answer one of those signals, even clumsily, even imperfectly, you're telling her nervous system the most important sentence it will ever hear. So here's what you can start today, and 3 simple steps. First, notice the serve. When your baby makes a sound, points at something, or reaches towards you, that's a serve. Pause for a moment and look at what she's looking at. Second, return it with warmth. If she's watching the ceiling fan, you might say, "Oh, you see the fan going around? It's spinning, isn't it?" The exact words matter far less than the fact that you've met her where she is. Third, leave space for the next serve. After you respond, pause. Let your baby send the next signal. Let her drive the rhythm. That back and forth tempo is where the real neural building happens. What most parents don't realize is how much this one practice outperforms almost every enrichment product on the market. An app cannot notice what your baby is genuinely interested in and reply with warmth. A flashcard cannot lean in with a smile when your baby lights up. The most expensive toy in the world is, from a brain development standpoint, a silent room compared to a few minutes of a tuned, responsive conversation with a loving adult.
So here's what I hope you carry with you today. A coo, a glance at a bird outside the window, a tiny finger lifted toward a passing cloud. Every one of those moments is an invitation, and every time you answer, even with a single word, even with a soft smile, you're building something inside your baby that no toy, no app, and no program ever could. 5 minutes a day, that's all. Done consistently over the weeks and months ahead, it will give your baby more of what her brain actually needs than almost any product on the market. And if you're watching this, learning how to love your baby a little better, that already tells you something true about the kind of parent you're becoming. If this helped you see your baby in a new way, consider subscribing. We share science-backed insights like this every week. Until next time, watch for the serves. Answer with warmth. Your baby is listening with her whole being.